and welcome back to my channel, Mental Health with Melissa. If you're new here, I'm Melissa, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more content as I post new videos every single Sunday and Wednesday. And subscribing to my channel helps me get mental health information out there to our communities of color and tons of free LCSW test prep. I have a social work study LCSW test prep program available for purchase on my website that can be found down below. And I have discounted the price because I know that I've gotten a lot of inquiries about it, and many people would like it at a more affordable price. So I've listened to those comments, and you can find it now on my website at that listed price. So please go ahead and head over there, and we will go ahead and get into the content of today's video. So if you watched the video before this one, you know that we're on this series of those challenging vignette questions that incorporate these keywords: best, most, first, next. So the last video we focused on the first word and we incorporated that into the vignette, and today we're going to be looking at the DSM-5 diagnosing, kind of provisional diagnoses, and we're going to look at some very specific childhood diagnoses. So let's go ahead and jump into the question. As always, if you watch my videos, please pause here, read the question yourself, answer it to the best of your knowledge and ability, and then play, and then you can compare it to my answer, just so you can test your test-taking strategies and test-taking knowledge on this particular sort of question. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'm going to be marking it up as we go along because, as I often say, many times the answer is already within the question. So a 10-year-old, so this is a 10-year-old, is referred to a school social worker for lying to teachers and being caught breaking classroom windows. He is upset with his parents and school authority figures. When he is asked about this, he blames his friend. So he doesn't take any accountability. He blames his friend for being a bad influence and made him do it. The social worker notes that he is angry throughout the meeting and reports difficulty paying attention in class. Considering this information, the best diagnosis to describe his symptoms is, so we have here the word best. So there may be a couple of things that meet, maybe here or there, the criteria or symptoms for many of the diagnoses listed. However, we want to try to rule it out, and considering the information that we do know, what would best meet what his criteria would best fit under. So let's go ahead and go over these options one by one. Option A, oppositional defiant disorder. So oppositional defiant disorder is this diagnosis for young children that have this argumentativeness and are irritable and have issues with authority, and they blame others, and they have kind of this disrespectful attitude towards authority figures. So let's look at what we've marked up. So it looks like he's upset with school authority figures and his parents, blaming others. Oh, that's interesting. Blaming. Okay, so that's another sort of red flag here that we see that meets that criteria. So that could possibly be an option, but let's look at the other options. Option B, disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. So with disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, there are severe temper outbursts 3 or more times a week. A child is always angry and irritable. And with this particular diagnosis, the age range is anywhere from 6 to 18. So this could possibly be it as well. But we don't have too much more information about how often he does these things, right? We don't see anything about tantrums or about severe temper outbursts. We just have this kind of brief scenario of this kind of picture that has been painted for this one event. So let's look what else we got here. Option C, attention deficit disorder. So ADD. So attention deficit disorder is clearly marked by understanding that somebody with this diagnosis has challenges paying attention and can't sit still when at school, or being able to having a troubling time finishing homework assignments or something like that, and is fidgeting a lot. And this is around before, this has to be diagnosed before the age of 12. So he's 10 years old. He has difficulty paying attention in class. However, that's the only sort of criteria that we see that meets those two things. He's under 12. He has difficulty paying attention in class, but there are other things going on. So because of that, there's more concerning things: lying, vandalism, his blaming behavior. These are things that are not described under ADD. So for that reason, we're going to cross that out. Maybe this is something that he's dealing with, but based on what we have in front of us right now, this is not going to be the best answer. So option B, conduct disorder. So with conduct disorder, there is a violation of understanding the basic rights of others. There's aggressive harm to inanimate objects, to people, to animals, property vandalism, lying, and violation of rules, the main thing here being vandalizing, and there's an actual law being broken. So that can mean either, again, damage to public property, or it can mean, actually harming somebody else. And this diagnosis can only be applied to those that are under 18. So we have a 10-year-old here. So that looks like it meets a lot of our criteria, but let's go ahead and see why we're not using the other ones, or what are the main sort of markers that are telling us that it may be one of these three as opposed to the other two. So if we're going back to oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD, there's this defying, to comply, blaming others. So that's all here. But what we don't have under ODD is there's an actual law being broken, or there is actual physical harm being placed on somebody else, or inanimate objects. And we see that going on. So it's not just ODD. So we're going to cross that out. So let's look at disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. So with disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, yeah, again, there is anger and irritability that we see. We don't see anything about how often this is happening. The other thing is we just have, again, this kind of picture that's being painted for this one scenario. So we would need more information to actually diagnose for disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, because we don't have more information in this vignette saying this is happening specifically 3 or more times a week. And we want to look at those kind of key time frame tables. So the reason why that leaves us with conduct disorder is because the main standout sort of criteria that this 10-year-old is meeting is the fact that there's actual vandalizing and there's a law being broken. It's against the law to vandalize property. You can't do that. So that is what sets conduct disorder apart from all the other ones, because all the other ones, there doesn't have to be that criteria about breaking the law, but with conduct disorder, it does. So that's why conduct disorder is going to be the answer. All right, so how did you do? Did you get that right or wrong, or were you kind of teetering upon two different diagnoses? Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if there's any other diagnoses that confuse you, because I like to do the vignettes with actual DSM disorders, because I think that it really helps, get our clinical assessments of some of these criterias going, and it helps us become better clinicians in reading the DSM. So let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, managing mental health matters.